Hey everyone, I'm doing a video today. I've got to replace a valve cover gasket on the Saturn and a possible wheel bearing. I know it's a wheel bearing, but I just got to figure out which one. To do that, I'm going to go drive it around for a little bit, turn some corners, see if I can hear which one's grinding. And then when I get back, check it with the old, where are we? There we go. The old digital infrared temperature gun. That'll usually tell you which bearings gone bad. It'll be hotter than the rest. So I'm gonna go take it for a ride and then I'll see you in a bit. All right, everyone, I'm back. Took it for a drive. Gonna check out the wheels with the temp gun. I'll try this side first. The driver's side is definitely hotter. I'm showing if I get it right on the hub there. Showing around 88 degrees Fahrenheit. And this side, less, about 60. Let me just shut this off and give it another go. Okay. That's on the center of the hub. This thing does have hubcaps, but the heat still transfers through somewhat. Yeah, the driver's side is definitely hotter. I'll see when I jack it up, see if there's any looseness there. First things first, I've got to change the valve cover gasket. So I'll just stop you here and come back. All right, before I go any further, there's one thing I want to show you guys. Taking the spark plug wires off to begin. Take off the first one, fine. Second one, it's all good. Let's pop those out of there. Third one, all good. Last one, soaked in oil. Obviously I can hear it. One of the O-rings down there is shot. But that doesn't matter because that comes with the gasket set. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take the PVC valve off. PVC? PCV valve. I always say that. And start loosening up. I think there's 12 bolts. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, maybe there's 8. I don't know. No, 8, 9, 10, 11. Maybe there's just 11 bolts. I don't know. I've never done this one before, so we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start, and I'll get back to you. So just hold on a minute. All right, I'm back. I've got my 10mm socket. There are indeed 11 of them. Already loosened off the back ones. Don't try to remove the bolts at this point, just loosen them all the way out. You'll see they don't want to come out anyway, they're kind of hung in. They will come out, but don't bother. Okay, and then the 3 in the center here between the spark plug wells. Okay, we should be loose. Put that there. We've got one more hose to pull off of here. There we go. Got everything. The PCV valve is loose. Hose is off. Spark plug wires are all off. It should pop out of there. Try with a pry bar here. pop her loose. It's a little warm, I'll get some gloves because I may just take it for a drive. When you pull it off, you're probably going to want to flip it right away so you're not dripping oil all over the engine and everywhere else. But in this case, there's still going to be some oil dripping from that spark plug boot. But let's take a look. There we go. There's the underside of it. It's pretty grungy. We'll clean that up some before I put it back together. But yeah, so you can see the inside there. There's your seals that go around the spark plug boots, and then your outer gasket. Bring you over here to the table. Also using my underhood light here. It's a Motomaster light. I picked up a Canadian Tire. They still sell them. It's pretty much identical to the gear wrench one that I was going to buy. Everything else in here looks decent. No slack in the timing chain. That's good. Part of the problem was this thing is squealing like a banshee when it's cold. Once it was warmed up, it's not bad because oil is dripping out so much and getting all over everything. It's getting into the belt, on the pulley, the alternator, everywhere. So it just squeals. I can spray it when it's running. I can spray it with soap or something and it'll stop the spray right away. So I know it's just an oil contamination problem. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this cool for a little while before I do anything to it, and then I'll come back to you. So I'll stop you, hold on here before I go. I'll show you the gaskets that I picked up. Felpro. There's the center gasket. Set that there. Then we've got these little blue rings. Remember when I told you not to take out the bolts that hold the valve cover on? These are just the grommets that replace, they go around. So when you pull the bolt out, then you put these in, then put the bolt back in. You can do it another way, I'm just doing it the easy way. And we've got the gasket itself. It'll only fit one way, so shouldn't have a problem with that. There will be a spot in the corner, right somewhere here where it meets. You'll need a little dab of silicone, but we're going to clean up this gasket surface and get everything ready. Alright, I'll get back to you in a minute. Alright everybody, I've got the engine prepped. I've cleaned off the gasket surface all the way around the head. Cleaned off the inner, the spark plug wells, cleaned off all this area. I basically went over everything with paper towels first to get rid of all the heavy gunk, which was lots of it. And then any little sticky bits, I used a gasket scraper. You can pick these up anywhere. Gasket scraper, you can use a razor blade if you're very careful. You don't want to nick the surface. Just get yourself a cheap gasket scraper. Do that. I'm going to use some brake cleaner, and I just sprayed a little bit on the rags and, you know, went over the surfaces to make sure I got everything as clean as can be. And it's all good. When you're done, run your finger over it, and if you feel any edges or anything sticking up, go over it with the gasket scraper and then just re-clean that area. You want this outer surface and this inner surface spotless. Now in these Saturns, the front engine moult, or the passenger side engine mount is right here. It's tough to get in there with the gasket scraper. I use the smaller edge, as you can see, of the pry bar I have. Very carefully to get in there and scrape that out, because you want that really clean. Chances are that's probably where this was leaking the most and running down onto the belts here. This is where the serpentine belt is. It was squealing horrendously, even after a belt change. So I'm gonna leave it at that. That's good enough, ready to go. And I'm gonna move over to the valve cover gasket and start in on it. So Hold on a second. All right, I'm gonna start in on the valve cover gasket now. You can feel around the edge where this gasket was, how gritty it was. That oil and grit have been getting by that for a long time. It's just in terrible shape. No wonder this thing was leaking so much oil out here. Just got a quick wipe off before we pull it out. Goes out. You want to do this somewhere you're not afraid to get grungy, because it will get messy. And these bolts I had mentioned before about leaving them in, I'm going to show you how you can take them out now. What they are is they're a rubber seal around there's this little collar that goes around the bolt that doesn't come off, and this rubber seal fits over there. So you pull it off and it's like that. See, that's what you're dealing with, and these are the rubber seals. So it's easier to just pop them out. I just took my little pocket screwdriver, put it on the end of the bolt, and blammo, pop it out. And do the same with all of them. They're not that hard to get out. You can probably just get them out without hitting, but some of them are difficult. There we go. Put those all over here. We've got the center ones. Should be 3 in the center. 3. Get those out. They are all the same length, same design, same grommet, so it doesn't matter. Nothing to worry about there. And then we'll start by pulling out this perimeter gasket first. Get something you can dig it out with. They get baked in there pretty good. Something might help would be a pick. Let's see, let's get some angled pick. And maybe perhaps a hooky pick. Once you get it started, it should come out a lot easier. There we go. And we'll just run the pick along. You can actually hear the grit in here. And you see here, there's a little dab of silicone or gasket maker there. That's where the head joins the timing cover and all that. So you'll have to put a little dab on there when you put the new one on. So pull this off. And we're good. And that one will just set off to the side for now. It's garbage. You're going to want to clean down inside that groove where the gasket sits really well. Alright, now let's see if we can get this one out. A little easier. Nope, this one's bitter and it broke. Brittle and broke, sorry. These inside ones usually harden up and will rarely come off in one piece. Maybe we'll get lucky. They usually break in between the cylinder, or the plug holes, like that. It's back to the drawing board here. There we go. Let's see if I can get it off here, maybe by just encouraging the thing with the pick. That's helping. Now obviously, which one was it? This one would have been bad because that's the one where all the oil was getting through into the spark plug well. Yeah, it's hard to tell. You can feel grit on there, but I mean, it needs to be replaced no matter what. Clean that up. Now what you're going to want to do is clean this up as much as you can. Like there's gunk in there. You're never going to get this spotless and you could spend eternity trying. But if you can get rid of some of the buildup in gunk, that's good, you know. It just helps de-gunk the engine, or, you know, it's just going to get worse if you leave it, basically, is what I'm saying. So clean this up while you can with what you can. And I'm going to stop here and I'll clean this up and come back to you. So hold on a minute. Okay, I've got it mostly clean. I used paper towels, cleaned everything, scraped as good as I can. If you want to get finicky, you can take off these baffles. They have screws all the way along that you can just take out and lift those plates out and clean better in behind there. I'm not going to. One of the things I did do to clean around the edges though was take my little pocket screwdriver, take a rag, and just kind of went around inside, cleaning that all out as best I can, using this brake cleaner. And the same thing around the spark plug rings. Then once I was done that, I just took an air blower and cleaned them out real good. Your main concern is making sure there's nothing inside there, no contaminants that'll prevent a good seal. Good. Shut the air hose off. That. We'll give the gasket surface one last good drying. All the top side. Pretty good. Okay, now we'll start with the inner rings. You can see how they go. They'll only go in one way. Let me get back to you here. Alrighty, okay, I'm back. So what I ended up having to do was take the old gasket. Well, I couldn't take it back because once you open the box, there's no return. Sadly enough. Important, this package, blah, blah, blah. Special instructions. There's no special instructions in here. No return once package is open, blah, blah, blah. But the place I bought it from, the guy, I buy a lot of stuff there, opened the pack. He said he'd eat it if it was wrong. But I got the right set. My issue was, it's completely my fault. Thought the car was a 99, it's a 97. So, different valve cover. Same engine, different valve cover. So, this is the part I needed. This is the part I got with the old ones. And you can see the difference in size here. It's quite apparent. So, let's try this again. Oh, much better. Like a glove. Put that on there. Oh, that's a beauty, eh? Yeah, so for the old gasket set I got, can't take it back, so there's like 50 bucks down the tube. But oh well. I'll keep it along, keep it in the chance that someday I get a 99 to 03 Saturn 1.9 liter with dual overhead cams. Highly doubtful, but hey, stranger things have happened, right? Okay. Oddly enough, I was able to make the other gasket, the perimeter gasket from the other set fit. Took a little fooling around, but it did fit. This one fits absolutely perfect, obviously. without any stretching or fooling around. I love these gaskets so much better than regular cork gaskets or other type. It's just a way better design overall. Put in there. Come on. Okay. Alrighty ho. There we go. We'll just make sure that's all pushed down really well. I'll have to look up the torque specs for the valve cover because it's a plastic valve cover and they warp really easy. So if the torque is uneven when you put it in, it might not leak right off the bat. Once the engine gets hot and the valve cover gets hot, the uneven torque will warp it and cause leaking again, even with a brand new gasket. So that's an issue. Okay, so that's on. Hands are all grubby. What should have been like a 15-minute job has turned into a 2-day job. So I stop here, take you back over to the car, put this on after I look up the torque specs. While I was out picking up gasket at Home Depot, grabbed a couple of these. Anybody use Ryobi in Canada? I don't know about the States, but it's the big Ryobi sale. 2 4-amp-hour batteries for 98 bucks. Not bad at all. And I picked up a few other things, a big bag of rags, just some stuff. Oh, when I got the new gasket, I also picked up some wheel bearings. The front wheel bearing, I'm still not sure. I think it's the passenger side one that needs doing. I'm gonna do them both. I would have preferred the, you know, either Timken or different, a better bearing than these bearing Best Buy, but the car doesn't get driven a whole lot and it's probably only got a few years left in it. These bearings will outlive the car. I'm not too worried about it. But anyway, okay, so I'm gonna stop you here, head over there and be back. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention before I move on and put the valve cover back on is your new gasket set will come with these little bolt grommets. These are the old ones. There's probably nothing wrong with the old ones, but it comes with the new ones. So put them in the holes first, and then take your bolts. Make sure you take the old gasket or old grommet off the bolts and put them in. They'll pop in place. Okay, there we go. Bada boom, bada bing. I'll now take you over to the car and we'll put this sucker back on. So here we go, just a second. Alrighty, we're back at the car. Before you put the gasket back, or before you put the valve cover back on, you want to take some RTV gasket maker and just put a little bit on the ends where the timing cover meets the head. There's a little, you'll see the little line there. And when you took it off, you'll probably see that there was some there. It doesn't take much, just a little dab. And on the other side too. Doesn't take much at all. Just let that sit for a minute. Valve cover back, bada boom, bada bing. Make sure we're all ready to go. Got the bolts all in. Going the right way. I've got a torque wrench. This is just a little 1/4-inch drive. 89 foot-pounds. Start at the center and work your way out so you don't deform the gasket. I'll show you when I'm doing it. But yeah, 89 inch-pounds, not foot-pounds. For God's sakes, don't do foot-pounds. We'll just set that there. That's all ready to go. Let's see, just make sure that's good. Okay, should be good to go. That's good. Timing chain is nice and snug. I keep calling it a valve cover gasket, but it's a camshaft cover, as they call it, or cam cover, because it's an overhead cam, so the valves are down below. There are no valves up top. So we'll take this, carefully get it in place. Let's move this shit out of the way. A little better, so we have more room. Make sure there's nothing else in the way. Boom, drops right into place. Start these by, don't tighten them yet, just get them started. All good, it's all started. Now let's just snug them up a little bit. Just go until you start to feel resistance. Okay. It's really not that difficult of a job. Anybody can do it. It'll save you some money, and it's a really common problem on these Saturns. So start in the center. So we'll start in the very center bolt. There we go. So there's 3 center bolts in here, and these are basically the ones that torque down the center and stop the oil from getting into your spark plug well. There we go. Then we'll move to the back. Back to the front. Done. Done. You just want to work your way to the outside so it doesn't bunch up the gasket. Okay, all good there. Almost forgot this one over in the corner. Okay. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to button everything back up, put on the PCV valve, vent, spark plug wires, fire it up and make sure everything's good. So I'll stop you here and be back in a minute. All right, everyone, that's it. Got it all back together, started it up. I can't see any leaks or anything. What I'm going to do is in the morning, it's getting kind of late, I'm going to take it outside, pressure wash everything, make sure all the oil's off. Clean it up, let it run for a while and have a leak. It should be fine. If there is any slight leak or seepage, you can tighten the bolts down a little snugger. Don't go crazy. It is a plastic valve cover. They're 89 inch-pounds. Go up to 100 if you have to, but I wouldn't go any more than that, but it should be fine. Like I said, I didn't see any leaks. That's it. If you have any questions, ask below in the comments section. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Wash your hands. Take it easy. Thanks.